welcome to the very salubrious surroundings of the Thistle Hotel here at Terminal 5, London Heathrow. Thanks for joining me as we take the British Airways A380 in the old conventional configuration in premium economy class, premium economy to Dubai. It's about a 6.5 hour flight across to Dubai. I've got Echo Foxtrot allocated for this flight. It's an A380, sadly, I've already flown on, so no scratch in the book on this flight. But I'm looking forward to it. Across to Terminal 5, I'm no longer welcome in the first wing with a group of people. I've got a few days left on my gold card, but the rest of my party do not. So we'll be trying out the new, relatively new Club World check-in that is on the north side of the terminal, the north side fast track. We've got a C gate departures. We'll be using the B gate lounge, having a look through T5. All that to come, so stay with us, enjoy the video, and let's head out to Dubai.
Traveling the world on planes, trains, trams, and more. Join Mark Hopwood as he shows you some of the great journeys he's made. Let's travel to a whole variety of destinations. Remember to drop your comment below, like and subscribe, turn on the notification button, and never miss a video.
It's a great thing about the Thistle, it links straight through to the pod. Secret gate, you do have to pay, but I was using the pod parking anyway. Straight up, that's the Terminal 5 check-in area. You do get dropped by the Club World, of course, no first wing for me, as I explained earlier. Quite a lot of self-service check-in, even for Club World, but I was through there, through security, down the escalators, into the shopping area. There are lounges available in the main Terminal 5 area, north and south, but I didn't want to use those today. I was going to use the B Gates lounge, but I'm not covering that today. Welcome to the Galleries lounge here in the B Gates Airbus A350 X-Ray Whiskey Bravo November behind me on the Delhi flight. They'll be loading that up soon, heading away. After a brief visit to the lounge, back to the transit and on to the C gates. At this time of day, quite a lot of A380 activity over at the C gates, with flights to the likes of San Francisco and Los Angeles, Miami, either boarding or getting ready to board. Of course, other aircraft departing from the gates as well. Quite a lot of glass out in that part of the airport, so you always get a good view of the aircraft, and it's always interesting to have a look at what's going on with the other aircraft. London Heathrow Terminal 5 C Gates, it's like A380 City here. Echo Juliet just pushing behind me on the BA A285 out to San Francisco. My aircraft Echo Foxtrot just on the other side of the C Gates, getting ready to board for the Dubai flight. Let's have a look then. A London Heathrow to Dubai with the British Airways Airbus A380. 23rd of December 25 this flight took place, and the Airbus A380 that British Airways flies, all 12 of them have the 4 Rolls-Royce Trents 970 engines, and this particular example, Golf X-Ray Lima Echo Foxtrot, 12 years old, first flew in 2014. Flying time to Dubai is 6 hours and 37 minutes. It's 3,420 miles. We cruised at an altitude of 39,000 feet, and I was flying World Traveller Plus on the upper deck in seat 64B. My daughter in 64A, so we sort of shared the seats, and I did get to have a look out of the window. Just a few words about the Airbus A380 with British Airways. 12 of those. It's the world's largest commercial passenger airliner. At British Airways, the aircraft can seat 469 passengers across 2 decks, 14 first-class passengers downstairs, 97 Club World split between the 2 decks, 55 World Traveller Plus upstairs, and 303 World Traveller or economy class seats split between the 2 decks. It's a long-range capable aircraft. It can fly up to 9,500 miles, so it can cover any of the scheduled flights across the British Airways network with its 4 Rolls-Royce Trent 972B84 engines. They generate a maximum 76,000 pounds of thrust on takeoff. Currently, the aircraft serves destinations across North America, South Africa and Dubai. It's been known to fly to Singapore, to Hong Kong, to Boston, Washington and Dallas, and it returns to Dallas next year actually. That's the Aerolopa seat map. At the top, the upper deck where I was, and below the lower deck with its first class high capacity aircraft, and that's me, seat 64B in the World Traveller Plus cabin. And finally, just a quick few words on our departure. The Speedbird 107 from London Heathrow, runway 09 right. It's a Detling 1 Juliet departure out over South London and Kent. That's a standard instrument departure they use from London Heathrow. So you're all up to date on the flight.
Today is Senior First Officer Tom Andrews. We had a great team in the cabin led by in-flight manager Dandy Oldbahn. Our flight time to Dubai is back at 6 hours and 30 minutes. I'll be departing off the easterly runways here at Heathrow, so kind of short taxi out today. I've got up to 37,000 feet as we head across Dover, across the Thistle to the yard. Good flight conditions all past the whole route, and looks like a nice evening Dubai for our arrival. We will switch seatbelt signs off just as soon as we can after takeoff, but if the bell sign is illuminated, please return to your seat immediately and fasten your seatbelt securely. Good idea to keep it fastened at all times you're in your seat as we're doing on the flight deck, just in case you meet any unexpected turbulence along the way. Well, we're ready to go now, but just awaiting clearance from air traffic control, so in the meantime, please make yourselves comfortable. And Danielle and the crew. Thanks very much.
Well, I've left the noise of some of the small children in the background just to give you a feel for what it was like for nearly 7 hours on board the aircraft. And I was flying with children myself. I'm not moaning or complaining about it too much, but a few young children that I think could have been kept better entertained on the flight. A few parents just staring at their in-flight screens and their own iPads and not keeping their children amused. Anyway, that's the lecture over from me. By now the aircraft is pushing back from the stand. Of course, it's a very large aircraft, 4 engines to start. Not many aircraft left with 4 engines. That's a quick view of the cabin. World Traveller Plus. I'm going to show you the cabin with a bit of British Airways footage later on as well. You can see the very small little tables in the armrest and those pockets for devices. Let's just have a look at that again. The seat back videos, the seat pockets. Not bad actually for a flight to Dubai. A World Traveller Plus on British Airways, and some video footage supplied from my previous flight on this aircraft to Frankfurt. A pre-departure drink was sampled, one of the perks of World Traveller Plus that you do get over economy. And as we pushed back from the stand, of course, the safety video was played. The cabin was prepared for takeoff.
Cabin crew, doors to armed and cross-check.
Sentiment of the most tender nature. Welcome everyone. We will now demonstrate the safety features of this aircraft, and your attention is essential as this may be different from any aircraft that you've flown on before.
Do I smell the winds of war? I see smoke on the horizon.
Smoking, including e-cigarettes, vaping, and the use of other smoking devices, is not permitted at any time whilst on board. including the toilets, which have smoke detectors in them.
All devices should have the flight safe mode feature enabled now.
Handheld devices must be held securely or placed into a...
To your luggage for takeoff and landing. Please unplug your devices from the socket.
Tie securely in a double bow at the side. To inflate, pull the red toggle as shown, and the air can be topped up by using this mouthpiece. There is a whistle and a light for attracting attention. Please do not inflate your life jacket until you are outside of the aircraft.
So we're taxiing out from the C Gates at Terminal 5. Very short taxi to the threshold of runway 09 right. It's not used as the main runway. Heathrow, with prevailing winds, tends to try and focus on 27 left and 27 right, and actually when departures are running from 09 right, they always do go from 09 right because of the Cranfield agreement. They don't use 09 left. Well, very rarely do they use 09 left. There isn't much space at the threshold of runway 09 right for aircraft to wait, and it can often get quite congested, and certainly British Airways told me when I was lucky enough to visit their operations centre that they much prefer operating from 27 left or 27 right. But nonetheless, the airport can operate perfectly effectively. It's just not quite as punctual an operation generally when they're departing from 09 right. Detling 1 Juliet departure, I showed you that earlier in my pre-departure briefing. It's a good departure from this runway because you're basically taking off heading in the right direction. So you make a fairly gentle right turn and then you head out over South London, South East London, and out over Kent. Of course, the Detling VOR is in Kent, and then you're heading off over the English Channel towards Belgium and on into Europe. Oh, I'm sorry, further audio of the little darlings to amuse you, but that's what it was like on this flight. We're just moving now, taxiing into position on the threshold of runway 09 right. Just a few words to prepare you for an Airbus A380 takeoff. Now, many of you may have flown an A380 yourself, whether it's with British Airways or perhaps Emirates or another airline, and it's remarkable actually how quiet the aircraft is. The gap between the two windows, inner and outer, is much larger than other aircraft, and it's a much quieter experience. Here we go. Now, I apologise for the quality of this footage, bit of reflection. But this is footage I filmed when I was lucky enough to be invited up to the Heathrow Air Traffic Control Tower at 2 British Airways A380s on takeoff on runway 09, right, one after the other, and you can watch this aircraft as it takes off. So that's exactly the same takeoff you've just watched from inside the aircraft on my flight to Dubai. If you're stood somewhere in the airport where you're lucky enough to get a vantage point, this is what a takeoff on an A380 looks like. You can see just how slow the aircraft is. Very slow compared to other modern jet aircraft. It sort of lumbers its way gradually into the air, and of course, not surprisingly, does depend a little bit on loading and fuel, but normally they're loading quite heavily, so they use quite a large chunk of the runway. You can see that particular example only getting airborne as it approaches the Terminal 4 area, up and away. But you compare that perhaps to 757 or something, it's a world apart. Well, soon we were climbing and into the cruise on our flight out to Dubai. Now, I had chosen to fly World Traveller Plus. There were no Avios redemption flights available at this time of year. Probably I left it a bit late, very busy. The price of business class flights for all four of us was really prohibitive. But World Traveller Plus offers you things like a wet towel after takeoff, with a little demonstration there. Obviously a slightly wider seat. These pockets, we'll have another look in a moment, but they're really handy. You do get those in economy on the upper deck, and I would say if you're flying BA on the A380, do try and get a Club or a World Traveller Plus or a World Traveller seat on the top deck. Pre-meal drinks, I had a little cocktail, citrus cocktail, pretzels, very small pack of pretzels. It's all served in a plastic cup with a wooden stir. It's not a particularly premium experience. Yeah, right, they're pretzels, but it's certainly better. Isn't that annoying? Better than nothing. And that's my daughter's meal. We pre-ordered children's meals, pretty good, offering perfectly acceptable fried chicken, mashed potato. That's my food. Of course, it all comes in one serving. Nice red wine, again very small bottle of red wine, and you've got your dessert on the plate. You've also got your salad. Unfortunately, I can't find the menu that I thought I'd saved to share with you, so apologies for that. But a little salad came with goat's cheese, which is not to everyone's liking. I went for the shepherd's pie, lamb, of course. I quite like that sort of comfort food on a plane. Not everyone does.
Beneath the floor in the cabin here, there's rest facilities for 12 cabin crew. So on a very, very long flight with 22 crew, there'll be a rotation system so that at any one time some crew are getting rest. So this is underneath the main deck of the aircraft, and there's rest facilities here for up to 12 cabin crew to ensure that they're safely rested and able to be very alert on a long-haul flight. As you can see, it's a bit like a couchette on a train. There's 12 bunks, one above the other. So here we are right at the very back of the main deck. We've just walked through a 3-class aircraft, and actually that's just one deck. Now we'll go upstairs and see the upper deck. So we're now on the upper deck of the A380. For those of you who've been on the upper deck of a 747, you'll find it's much, much larger up here. It's 70 inches wider than the upper deck of the 747. And this is the World Traveller Plus section. We have 55 seats here with increased pitch, a bigger in-flight entertainment screen, and 2 USB ports instead of 1, as well as footrests and many other enhancements. As you can see, the fuselage up here actually curves inwards slightly more, but actually we've used the opportunity to put lockers in the space between the passenger and the sidewall where you can fit a laptop or a handbag.
Hope that was useful. Let's look at the amenity bag. Thanks to Matt's Planet for that little trick. And then before long, the snack. This is pretty basic. Be nice to have an afternoon tea, but that is what you get, I'm afraid.
As we head up the Gulf. Passing just to the north of Doha at the moment, about 250 miles to go to land at Dubai Airport. Looking like a nice evening with a temperature of about 20 degrees at the moment, just a very light easterly wind and some high scattered cloud. We do arrive at a reasonably busier time of the evening in Dubai, but I'm not expecting any major delays. So with that in mind, we should be on the ground in 40 minutes from now at 11:30 local time. Time now for your during set your watches is 90 minutes to 11, Dubai being 4 hours ahead of the UK. Well, if there is any major change of our arrival, I will come back to you, but meanwhile, please sit back and relax for the last stage of the journey. Thanks very much. It's cabin crew, 40 minutes to landing. 40 minutes. Thank you.
Always quite an interesting approach generally into Dubai. Sometimes you come in over the sea. We always approach over the sea really from the UK, but sometimes straight in over the sea, sometimes over the sea and then over the city, which is what we did, turning for a northerly approach. Of course, a lot of bright lights. It's dark. Time has moved on quite close to midnight as we come in for our landing at Dubai International Airport. Now, although Dubai is, a city airport, it's located not far from downtown. It's still quite a substantial sized site, and quite a taxi once we touched down, taxied off the runway down to Terminal 1. Terminal 1 is the old Dubai airport terminal. It's okay, but it's pretty basic. Not surprisingly, of course, Emirates have the brand new terminal, which is much nicer, much more salubrious, but everybody is going to pack up and move down the road to Dubai World Airport, that is getting ready for an opening over the next decade or so, but it's not opening straight away, so these facilities and the aprons and so on all going to be in use for some time to come. Not surprisingly, of course, you taxi past line after line of Emirates aircraft, a large fleet of A380s. We all know they have quite a few 777s, and they're beginning to use, of course, now the A350 as well. Fly Dubai as well, quite a few other airlines in situ at Dubai. British Airways changed their operations for Dubai depending on time of year, but at a simplistic level, in the winter when demand is higher because the sunshine is quite attractive, they have an A380 and usually a couple of 777s or 787s. And at the time I recorded this video, it's actually 787s, mix of 787-9s, 787-10s, but they're often using 777s on the Dubai route as well. The A380 disappears from the route in the summer, generally works the Boston rotation to North America. We've advanced quite quickly, of course. We're just turning now onto the stand. No shortage of stands here that are A380 compatible. Emirates, of course, in the other terminal, but there are other airlines coming here with their A380s as well. Yeah. Oh, that's for her flight. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, she sent me the receipt. So welcome to Dubai. Here I am checked in at my hotel. I'm on the Jumeirah beach with the Burj Al Arab just behind me. There you can see. So British Airways on the A380 from London Heathrow. Premium economy, not too bad actually. The aircraft a little bit old. Of course, they're coming up for a refresh in 2026. I think that will improve things. But for now, the premium economy product is as it is. Quite a busy cabin in the run up to Christmas. The clientele enjoyed their drink a little bit too much, shall we say, a bit excitable. Quite a few noisy kids on the plane, but that's not entirely British Airways' fault. So I'd say a fair experience. Food pretty reasonable, and we were on time, which is not always the case with the A380 flights. Quite a long way to Dubai for our baggage. The old Terminal 1 a bit clunky, and it took ages from when the first bag came to when our bags came, and there's still quite a lot of bags from a large full A380 still to come as we left the terminal. Well, I hope you've enjoyed the video. Join me on Mark's Trains, Planes and Trams for another video very soon.
Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe, and click the notification button so you don't miss any of the great trips Mark has coming your way on this YouTube channel.